Last time on The Path of Precision, we introduced you to our process and reasoning of how we plant our corn crop. We explained the scientific reasoning for how and why we choose to plant our corn based on the genetic makeup with the definitions of our three planting styles: male ahead, male delayed, and straightaway. We also gave insight into a pass we utilize to aid in the synchronization of our male and female plants in their pollination process. This phase is crucial in preparation for the next one. Pollination control. The heart of what we do in regards to our corn plants is rooted in pollination. It's why we utilize a 4-to-1 planting style and why we care about the nick. The nick is the window of pollination for our corn plants. We have to make sure our male and female plants hit the nick at the same time. This is why we have different timing in our planting and why we may flame male rows. We want to ensure successful pollination. This means that we have to take great control over the pollination process with good preparation and 3 important passes. But before we begin with machine passes to control our pollination, we have to make sure both our male and female rows are just about ready to begin their pollination process. For females, we have to make sure that they are beginning to show their silks and have not yet begun showing their tassels. For male rows, we want to make sure that their tassels are showing but not yet pollinating. We will walk fields at different starting points and take counts on each row to get averages of where our male and female corn plants are in their development to make the decision that it is time to begin our first pass of pollination control. Once it is time, our first pass in this is cutting. This refers to our process of cutting the tops off our female rows using a 12-head mower. This allows our female plants to rapidly sprout their tassel shoots for removal in our next step. Now, you may ask why this is necessary. Well, corn plants are homozygous plants, which means they have both tassels, the male reproductive trait, and silks, the female reproductive trait, and are able to self-pollinate to reproduce. That is what we're working to prevent. So we must take these steps to prevent the self-pollination of our seed corn, the first of which is the cutting pass. Once we've cut our female rows, there is a growth period where we have to allow the tassel shoots to extend before we proceed to remove them with the puller. The pulling pass is one that must be exact and complete. Going back to the science of hybridization, we cannot allow our female rows to maintain any tassels. So, to protect the purity of our hybrids at harvest, we must make sure that this step is completed at 100%. So, we utilize 2 methods to ensure this. The first is the puller machine pass. Like our cutter, this is a 12-head machine, but in place of mower decks, we have a 4-wheel system. Each head consists of 2 pairs of rubber wheels that rotate opposite each other in order to grab the tassel shoot, pull it off the stalk, and throw it to the side in a fraction of a second. It is a simple system that fills a very important need. This machine can detassel a field very quickly and achieve a high percent of the 100% goal. But we still need to make sure that we see the step through to the end, so we often implement an extra pass of pulling, but this time on foot. To make sure that we don't miss a single female tassel, we have crews start at the edge of our fields and walk the rows to pull any missed tassels. This is a key part of the pulling phase and of the pollination season, again, because we must make sure that this job is 100% complete. But once it is done, we're able to wait for nature to take its course. With our female rows showing silks and our male rows releasing pollen, the hybridization process has begun and we can make preparations for the final pass of pollination control: male destroying. Our last pass of this phase is to destroy our male rows. It is important that we include this step because if it were to be neglected, then the effort of our last 2 passes would be void. We must destroy our male rows because we need to protect the purity of our final crop. Since our male rows are not hybridized, we cannot maintain them through harvest. So we simply come in with a set of bladed metal wheels, then knock them down and chop them into the soil. This terminates the plant and keeps it from producing fully developed ears of seed corn, and prevents it from being actualized as part of our harvested crop. And with this, we have now done everything we can to optimize the power of our plants to create a great yield of hybrid seed corn. But before we get there are a few pieces of important crop maintenance we must bring forward first. So join us on our next episode as we look back at the importance of our spraying passes. The next episode of The Path of Precision will be out on Tuesday, September 13th at 9 a.m.